Okay, we're on, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to tell you how excited I am today because I'm going to introduce you to a casting director who has cast me in 5 different projects. Now, that doesn't usually happen. And not only that, she's a nice person, which is really incredible. And it's so incredible when you have somebody who knows who you are and can bring you in and get you, and you get a part because she knows who I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, instead of me talking about Judy Henderson, the great, I would like to offer a chance for you to meet and see Judy Henderson. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
It's so great. I'm so excited to be able to introduce you.
That's so sweet of you, Catherine.
Well, it's true.
It's only because she's talented that she's been hired. I just put her name forward and sometimes helped her audition,
Yes.
ran the audition for her. But she got all of those roles herself.
Now, this is something that you just said it,
Yes.
about running the audition.
Mm-hmm.
Because of right now, because we're having to do everything on tape, and we can't have anybody running the audition. What do we do about this? Because I don't know, like you know what the director wants, and I do something that I think is right, but...
Well, I think what happens, or should happen, and what I try to do, is give the actor or the actor's agent explicit directions in terms of the qualities that we want and the kind of person that I'm auditioning. And if the person hits most of those choices and the audition is good, I will send it to the creative team. If it's not, but there's something there that needed an adjustment, I can give the adjustment and he or she could redo it. However, I have to say that most times, whether the actor is aware of it or not, or is comfortable or not, most of those auditions are correct. So I think people worry more than they have to. Most
of those auditions are correct. Well, I think we worry because we don't get them now. Right now, because
you shouldn't worry about that, because you do the best work you can do. You're honest, you're open, your beats are proper. But then what happens is you're put in a group that has to work with people that are already cast in terms of what they look like and what their qualities are like. Having most of the time, unless you're really bad, and most people are not, at least the people I have into audition are not, you have to balance with what already was. So you can take yourself out of that, I didn't do well because I didn't do this, because a lot of things that have nothing to do with your performance
of course,
are put into the box, if you will. Yeah.
They say casting is open to any ethnicity. Mm-hmm. And then you say to yourself, well, in the old days, they didn't do that because there was no problem about it,
Well, there's not a problem now. I think what happens now is that you want a balance. Excuse me. You don't want an all-white cast or an all-black cast or an all-Asian cast, unless the material really calls for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what you try to do is balance the cast,
mm-hmm.
so that you have every ethnicity that's right for the particular role in terms of age, quality, resume, etc., etc. And that's all put into the mix in terms of the auditioning.
Oh, I have to ask you one other question. If they said, I'll ask you lots of questions. If they said, we want to have let's say a Palestinian, let's say they want a Palestinian, or they want a Greek, or they wanted this, and they wanted that.
They usually don't say that.
Oh, really?
Unless it's particularly scripted for that.
And if it is scripted for
then
that,
then you try to find the right ethnic group that is that person, because people that are watching that, who are members of that group, are going to say, this isn't right, this doesn't work, that person is not me, or doesn't represent me. If something is that clear in terms of the casting, in terms of what the writer, the producer, the director, And if you're in a TV show, the network and the company expect to see.
You just made a list. This
Yeah.
is fascinating. You have the writer,
Mm-hmm.
the director.
Mm-hmm. The writer, director, production company, network.
Wow.
Yeah, this and in a film, it's the director, the writer, the producer, and the company.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the role, everybody has to be okayed by all of that group.
It's amazing. It really is amazing
It is.
that you can get anything.
Well, because people are good and they're right for the roles and they work. And also the combination in terms of how they work with each other in the particular scene or in the particular piece. And all of that is taken into account. Because when I audition someone and it's a feature film, well, the person I try to have in my room, if I can, is the director. Because ultimately the director will make that first cut.
I mean,
In other words, he'll
come
say,
in and
he or she will be in the room with me.
Mhm.
He'll watch the auditions and he'll say, well, let's keep that person, and that person. I don't feel the other people are right for this particular thing.
Mm.
In terms of Homeland,
I believe you. No one else will.
which I did for 11 years.
Woohoo!
I know, with
11
8
years.
episodes, 11 years of my life, which was really very good.
How many?
Nobody was ever in the room except once. I had the director in the room. So I would audition and I would choose people that I felt were right for the role. And I would send that audition to the creative team, who then watched it and sent that to the studio and then the network. So everybody, in terms of it goes through a process. If someone is a name, let's say it's a famous actor, well, they don't have to watch an audition normally. They just have to decide if they want that particular person or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and are those 5 Artios Awards for Homeland?
No, they're for all. It's 6 Artios Awards.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed one.
6 Artios. No, they're for different things. Well, several plays and one is for Homeland. Yeah.
So Artios Award for plays too.
Oh yeah, I have, and my Emmy is Homeland. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I love that.
Me too.
Trying to figure out what. Let me see. What is it?
Well,
for?
it's all engraved on the Artios, which is difficult to see because it's all glass.
Yeah.
But name, project is right there.
Uh-huh. So if we want to see it, we've got all those little things to look at, which you said to me. I had no idea that you were going to do this wonderful thing of giving it a backdrop like we do here and then setting it on your piano. And I said, oh my gosh, Judy is hysterical.
I did. I put it on my dining room table
So
because
funny.
we could do it. And I had my coat as the background.
Your coat was the
My
back.
black coat, yeah.
That's so funny. The other thing is that Judy lives in a brownstone. And so the greatest thing is when you got the call to go to your audition, you'd go to the bottom part of the brownstone and you'd go to the back and you'd sit there and wait for your call. And then you'd go into another room where Judy was there with somebody who was using the camera. And that's what I miss, Judy. I miss it so much because, I mean, I remember sitting on a hill. I remember coming with my cigarette.
Sitting on a hill.
I said city on a hill.
I know you did. I'm kidding.
But I remember I came in with my bathrobe and my cigarette out of my mouth. But I wouldn't have done that with all people. I knew that I could really go way out of it with you.
It's very nice.
It was really great. And then there's one where
She got the role too.
that was really fun. Yeah. But there was another role where I went running down the street, taking my shoe off and screaming at somebody. I don't even remember what that was, a little film. And people were hanging out their windows going, what is going on?
I'll tell you a funny story. When I first went into business and I had the studio, there was a wonderful, my Alicia Mueller was her name, and we were very close, and she was my associate. And she was a smoker. And we did a lot of voiceover auditions, and a lot of the men that did many, many auditions, I mean, really, when you if you heard their voices, you would recognize them. I had a voiceover audition, and the guys came in, I put them on tape, et cetera, and then they would leave. And there was a doorman and a few police across the street doing things on the other side. And they kept seeing these men come out of my studio, shaking hands, and one would go one way and one would go another way. And when Alicia was a smoker, she came out, she smoked, and the guy came over to me and said, "What's going on in there?" I thought I was running a house of prostitution. She was hysterical.
and you did for you. That's the funniest thing. I could see it from other people, but Judy,
I never told you that.
Never did.
Oh, well, you laughed and laughed, and she said, "No, there are actors and they're auditioning for voiceovers because they're." And the other thing was when I had models, because I did a lot of Clairol and a lot of beauty things, and these women would come down, and of course they're absolutely stunning. So all the doormen would be out
doing special things,
just looking at the people walking down the street. It was really funny.
It was so unbelievable. Now it's changed. Now you're not.
Yeah, no, but that happens commercially. I mean, I don't think that I have the same. I have actors come in now, and it's not like they're all sitting in the waiting room and then they don't really necessarily know each other. It's a different feeling when it's
you have actors come in still.
I haven't for a while, but I did, and I still will. Hopefully soon.
It was great because you see your friends.
I did a play that I had in the studio. We did auditions for the play. And that was the first time since the epidemic, the pandemic, that I had everybody in the studio at once, director, producer.
Did you have it upstairs in your living room?
No, it was in the studio itself, which was best because we taped as well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, it's just interesting to me because there's so many different casting directors now that I have no idea who they are. In the old days, we'd go in and you'd see so-and-so and so-and-so and you knew who they were and everything. And I have no idea who these people are anymore.
That's very sad, but I think one of the reasons is that so much is done on tape now and through Breakdown Express, through their program, that people do things, as you know, in their homes. And we see the results. I try to find, if someone is right in terms of visually and they have an interesting audition, but they need an adjustment, I try, if I have the time, not the time so much, but the space to have them redo it. If they're, and I'll give them a note or direction, adjustment. And but it's difficult to do that.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But you know, our world, both film, television, and theater, our world is a world in which all of the creative people are used to and need to work with each other. Because no matter how you prepare something, that bounce from the person you're talking to in the room, not necessarily the people watching, but working with another actor, creates magic and choices, and I'm going to cry now. Because that's what we do. I mean, I do it in one way, you do it in another. But the combination of everything makes magic. And I know it's difficult for an actor to think about what the result of what they're doing is, because they don't know if they're doing, there's nothing really right or wrong, but they don't know if they're doing it correctly. Are they hitting the choices that people want to see? But I would say in that world, you have to trust yourself. And if there's something there that's right, visually, creatively, something is felt not to be as right, you'll be asked to do it again with the adjustment.
Well, the only thing that I can use as being a positive thing is that I'm asked to audition a lot. So obviously, whoever these people are out there.
The people that watch it are simply the director, the producers, and the casting director. That's it. And the same people that would be in the room, except sometimes the producers aren't in the room.
No, I haven't seen,
But the director's usually in the room.
the producers usually aren't in the room,
No,
aren't they,
they're
until
not.
the end?
No, yeah, they'll come with a callback or something. Usually a director is there,
Mm-hmm.
and the casting director, and then the people that, if it's taped, the people that are running the equipment, or me running the equipment, which I have to relearn how to do now. But as I said, I did a play. I did a play, and the writer was there, the director was there, the actors came in, the reader was there. So it was normal in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, the play things, I was up for a play that you sent me up to
Yes,
a long time ago. And that was what happened.
exactly.
We actually did it in a place, like,
Yeah.
but I haven't been up for a play in a long time. But in a sense, it's not, I don't want to go out of town. And I don't know. I just,
Well, you don't have to. You don't even have to worry about it,
yeah.
because your career has taken a turn, and you do mostly television and film,
Right.
and that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
It is very nice.
But you have to know a lot of things are not necessarily out of town. All my new group work is in town.
Yeah, well,
All those plays.
I'm ready.
No, but don't put yourself in a corner, Kathy.
I'm not putting myself in a corner. It's just that I was asked if I wanted to go to, where was it the first time they asked to do a play that is done all the time. I knew what they wanted me, I knew what they would cast me in, and I thought, I've done these parts, so I don't want to go to East Jesus and do this kind of a part.
Well, that's good. I mean, no, should you have to.
Yeah.
It's important, I think, for everyone to do what they feel they will excel in emotionally.
And enjoy.
Not necessarily whether they can do it or not,
Mm-hmm.
but take things that will let them grow and experience fun and creativity.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel that, you shouldn't accept those auditions or those jobs, because you would be upset with them and you wouldn't do your best.
No, right.
So you're doing the right thing for yourself.
But I think that the auditions for regulars, television and film,
Mm-hmm.
I always find them fun to do. I feel it's like being in acting class. You have to, first of all, I always learn this script, even if it's 6 pages. And that helps you know what you're doing and where you're going and everything else. And I enjoy doing those auditions because it feels like you're working.
But you are working.
Yeah.
It's a different process. And if that's what you want to do, continue doing it.
Yeah.
And don't do the other. Well, you pass on the other things.
Right.
Aren't
we lucky to have had somebody so honest about the casting situation? Because it is so important. Because we kill ourselves and we say, what happened? But we just found out what happened. So.
And just know that if you're there, you're respected and your work is honored, whether you get the role or not. The most important thing is that you're auditioning. And you wouldn't be in that position unless you were thought of to be good.
Say that louder because I hardly heard you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have to say it all again?
Say it all again.
I said, just remember, if you don't get the role, that's not important. The important thing is you were there and you were considered. Because there are many people on the submission list that don't even get to that point.
Ah, right.
So what you have to say to yourself is, I auditioned, I made that cut, I didn't get the role, but I was in the mix. And that's the most important thing.
And that's what I said to you earlier about how
Yes.
I'm grateful that whatever is going on behind the scenes, I keep auditioning. So
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
But if they didn't like you wouldn't be called to audition.
That's right.
Period. End of
That's
report.
right. That's right.
That's the thing I think people have to really take to heart. Doesn't matter whether you get it or not. It's great to get it. But you were in the running. And you were called back again by the person that put you in that, casting director or a director, want to see you again for something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you have to be positive about, I think.
And also
even more
your
than getting the
agents.
role.
I think it's very nice with your agents because even, Tracy even said, she said great work or something, or
Exactly.
your agent says this is terrific.
Exactly.
And you just feel like, well, somebody saw it.
Well, everybody sees it, But I think it goes back to you wouldn't be in that position unless you were good. Period. End of report.
Okay, that ends this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you, Judy Henderson. Yay!
Friends. We have friends in high places.